Hi everyone. For a while I've been thinking about trying some sort of vlog concept, but I haven't been sure where to start. How do you start something like that? Do you introduce yourself, tell your life story and everything leading up to the point where you do your first vlog post? I don't know. So, when this magazine landed on my doormat about 2.5 months later than expected, I thought, oh well, I'll just take the plunge and talk about this magazine. As you can see, it's not the latest issue Art Quilting Studio, but my copy got lost in the mail, and then the replacement issue took about 5 weeks to reach me, so there's already a later issue in the shops. So let's have a look inside. On page 3 we have the letter from the editor, written by Danielle Williams, who is the lovely lady I've been in touch with when I've had my articles published. If I zoom in a little, you can see that I'm mentioned here where Danielle presents the question that was asked of the contributors this time, namely, what kinds of conversations do you want people to have about your quilts? It says here that Annika Lund fills her art quilts with symbolism, often combining science with imagination to trigger the audience's curiosity, which of course is exactly what I try to do. So let's take a look at the article and the quilt that I wrote about. Here it is on page 60, Creating Out of a Slump by Annika Lund. In the article, I start off by telling the reader about the background, why I made this quilt, that I was frustrated and in a slump and decided to enter a competition just to kick myself into action. I then write about my inspiration, the weedy seadragon, this goofy looking and adorable animal that I've fallen in love with, Carl Sagan's famous words about the pale blue dot, which of course is the planet we live on, and fossils. All those extinct creatures that remind us that one day we may be fossils too. On the next page, I mentioned that for this quilt I tried something new and exciting that I'd wanted to do for a while, namely to use a print-on-demand service for fabric. And then I reveal how the competition went. I was shortlisted, which really was more than I dared to hope for. There is also a list of the supplies that I used, and then I outline the techniques that I used, from sketching and painting a seadragon in watercolor to scanning the painting and ordering the fabric. On the last page, I tell the reader how the quilting was done with the help of tissue paper, and finally I give some advice for those who are interested in trying print on demand themselves. Okay, let's move over to page 118. As I already mentioned at the start, there is always a question to the contributors, and this time the question was, what kinds of conversations do you want your art quilts to inspire? My answer is the last one down here, and I mentioned that when I exhibit my quilts, I like to include a little bit of information about my sources of inspiration in the hope that it will trigger the audience's curiosity. I would love it if my quilts inspired people to have conversations about the wonders of life and the universe, and to be filled with the same awe and excitement that I feel when I'm inspired to make a quilt. I haven't yet had time to look through the magazine properly, but as usual it's full of inspiring quilts. Funny, thought-provoking, beautiful, cute, skillful, awe-inspiring, whimsical, inventive. And I even discovered another quilter, Susan Ann Morgan, who also has used space and the planet Earth in her quilts for some serious messages to humankind. So that's it for this time. I'm actually planning to do a series of talks about my Astro quilts and the inspiration and symbolism that's hidden in them, so there will be more soon. Thanks for listening this far, and please leave a comment if there's anything you'd like me to talk about in a future vlog post. Bye for now!